Tell us some light.
I'm here at the Textile show,
Okay.
and I am speaking to one of the world-renowned experts on steampunk. Is it true that there's just nothing you can't answer on the subject, or how would you rate your expertise?
I am an appreciator.
She is an appreciator.
I'm an appreciator.
Oh my God, we are speaking to.
Yes.
Now, what is your first name, young lady?
Joe.
Joe, and what's your last name?
Addie.
And what city are you from?
Chicago.
So, now, there's a Joe Addie in Chicago that I've heard of that's writing a book.
That's right.
And I think it's called A Billion Tips for Antique. I think it started off as 3 tips, and it's been steadily working its way.
No,
now, do you know that since you have the same name? Do you know that Joe Addie?
I do indeed.
Oh.
Yes, I'm intimately acquainted with her.
Oh,
yes.
you're intimately acquainted with her.
Am.
So do you know the status of the book? How many tips she has worked her way up to?
It's 400 tips for antique dealers.
400 tips for antique dealers.
Yes, that's right.
Is there any steampunk tips?
No, there are no steampunk tips.
Okay,
no.
she has purposely gone out of her way to throw a curve at the whole steampunk movement.
I think the steampunk movement is very creative, though.
No,
I really enjoy it. The reason why I like it is because...
Well, before you tell me why you like it, what the hell is steampunk? I've heard the word every so often, but no two people define it the same way. What is the Joe Addie from Chicago definition of that word?
I think I would characterize it as a time. These people believe they live in the world of steam, but the Industrial Revolution, and they kind of embrace the ideas of H.G. Wells and Jules Verne, but electricity has not been invented yet for them.
So it is
does not exist.
Electricity wasn't invented yet.
That's correct.
So I guess I think I saw a steampunk thing. It had Benjamin Franklin. There was a big X across his face.
Really? That's funny.
Yeah, I think that must have been a steampunk kind of a thing. So electricity had not been invented yet. So this was like pre-Edison.
Yes.
Okay. And so what are some of the things that they do with the objects that they find?
Well, they're very creative.
They're very creative.
And they sort of mix the look of early mechanical objects and even integrate them into, they have computers, so they integrate them into computers, so they'll take the keys off of old typewriters, old typewriter keys, and I've seen them effectively change the buttons on their keyboard and put the old
so they have taken a perfectly good, functional, modern keyboard,
That's right.
and they put old typewriter keys on it?
Yes, indeed.
How do you feel about that?
I think it's pretty novel.
So you
support
really the destruction of these modern keyboards.
I think it's pretty cool.
We're talking about innocent keyboards.
Innocent keyboards, yes, absolutely violated.
Okay.
However, they've also taken the monitors and they've put marble bases on them.
They put marble bases on these plastic monitors?
Yes, and then they frame them with beautiful old frames, and then they put brass fittings to stand them on the stands, and they do some pretty cool things.
Well, they like a lot of marble and brass.
Yes, they do.
Are there any other kinds of substances that you would associate with that movement?
Well, I would say anything that was, Victorian, because the women, of course, when they dress up, they dress in things that are, very Victorian with bustles and stuff. And then
are the steampunkers? Are they big in?
This is a steampunk stopwatch right here.
This is a steampunk stopwatch. Well.
See, that would be something
looks pretty accurate to me.
Yes, this is something a steampunker would wear.
What sort of battery do they use for that?
Time goes by really fast.
Oh, they're using gravity.
Yes, that's right.
That stuff can. Yeah.
This is another cool thing. This is like a steampunk charm.
Oh, this is a steampunk charm.
And then
or actually, it can also function as a magnifying glass.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that.
Possibly even a fire starter.
Yeah. And they love optical pieces.
They love optical pieces. Now, is there a particular optical piece that's most associated with steampunk?
Well, a lot of them will be wearing around their hat bands and stuff, like goggles and stuff.
Oh, goggles.
Well, you know, they're always looking to time travel every chance they get.
They're looking for time travel.
Yes, exactly.
Does this fit into anything that you have any other passion about?
Yeah.
What is that?
That would be Somewhere in Time, which is a time travel
Somewhere in
love
Time.
story.
What is that about?
That's a beautiful love story set in modern day that goes back to 1912.
Oh.
It's about
What
a
now? What
playwright.
kind of? Now I saw the H.G. Wells time machine, and they had this rather elaborate machine that allowed them to go back in time. What was the device that they used to transport people back in time? Some sort of a laser beam, or what, how did they do that?
What do you mean, in Somewhere in Time?
Yeah, Somewhere in Time. How
Actually,
did they do that?
They used no device at all.
It was a
hypnosis.
hypnosis. So it was a device-free. It was
That's right.
hypnosis.
It's all power of the mind.
Power of the mind.
That's correct.
Okay.
But like I said, with steampunk people, I actually met one.
You
and
met a steampunk
I
person.
did. And I
Were you
asked her-
armed?
I asked her what she had in her little
Yes.
cool
And-
little box bag.
was
It
she
looked
shoplifting?
It looked like it looked like a little trunk. And she said, "Well, I'm a time travel agent."
She's a time travel agent.
And she opened it up, and she had old maps. Old
So
maps
is that
of London, wherever you wanted to go.
well?
See?
Well, that way she was well prepared. So she didn't.
Something with that.
Oh, that's cool.
So she didn't. So she didn't have. She didn't have a GPS. She had maps instead.
That's correct. That's very neat.
Gee,
That's very cool.
what happens when the internet goes down? Are those maps going to work?
Well, they were actual maps, and I guess you
Now,
could
those
arrange
maps,
with her trips.
So time traveling is one of the important elements of that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And living in the past and integrated, because they do embrace the idea of science fiction. Science fiction, they do embrace. So,
Okay.
but they love it, but they don't use.
But they try to veer away from
They
electricity.
veer away from electricity.
Okay. Well, that's fantastic.